Netherlands versus Princeton.
Attention! As you were.
Quite straight. Off we go again.
Go!
The start of the Silver Goblets and Nickalls Challenge Cup, the open pair. Netherlands versus Princeton, and roaring off the blocks.
Fast starts by both crews, and in the pair you really want to make sure you come out straight, you come out cleanly, because you've got one rower responsible for one side of the boat, and it can be difficult. And then you'll have one of these two in each crew with that foot steering attached to their foot, so it's a lot of effort to stay straight, but it looks like both crews have handled the start very well.
Lovely start there, shot of relaxed looking Theo Bell in the stroke seat for Princeton. The Netherlands, the international might of these Rienks brothers, have taken a length so far on this young British combo.
Yeah, the crew from the Netherlands, they look quite upbeat, and they have that same fluid motion we've talked about of all the Dutch crews here, which has allowed them to look like they've just creeped out a bit faster out of the start, but very smooth, very together, and we'll see what they can do when they push on to that race rhythm.
Well, I'll tell you what, this Princeton combination are really giving it some. They've not let up. The aggression there from this British combo. They're very well versed down this course. Theo Bell, you're seeing in the stroke seat from Eton. Marcus Chute behind him has won here in the Forley, so he's a Windsor boys rower. They know this course well. They're no strangers to Henley.
And the pairs races are a little bit longer than some of the ones we've seen today. The eights tend to fly down the course, so even though they're that little bit behind at the moment, you can change it a little bit more on the small boat, and you can claw it back a bit. And I mean, if you go out too hard in a pair, you can definitely pay for it later on. So you want to stay close enough that if something happens, you're in to put the pressure on them and hopefully can change the momentum.
Well, we're very lucky to be here in the commentating box with Grace Prendergast. She knows a thing or two about the pair. Olympic champion in this boat class. Won the Wimbledon? That's a different event altogether. She won the Hambledon pairs here. And you know what it's like running down this course, don't you?
I do, and as an international rower, often you get more nervous for these, because I think, as you talked about, these rowers here from that are a little bit more used to the course, they know it like the back of their hand, and sometimes you're a little bit unknown. So, I mean, the British might be able to use that to their advantage and start to eat into this lead, but it's an impressive start from the Dutch, and I do like how they're rowing it. Once again, they have that upright movement, but very effortless around the front, dropping it in, no extra movement.
A little bit of synchronization. The second set of brothers we've seen come down the course already today in the finals. A few little words there from Ralph in the bow seat. He's got the steering foot. He's keeping it very straight at the moment. And he's a little look across there from Marcus Chute in the bows of the Princeton combo. They want to stay in touch here, don't they?
They do. This is a very important part of the race. If you let it go here too much, it can be hard to come back, and you want to make sure in a pair you don't have a coxswain, you don't have anyone relaying that information to you except for the people in the boat. So the bow seat's going to have to take a little look over her shoulder, relay it to the stroke seat and say this is how far in front they are, and then it's up to him to relay and say, are we making ground, or do we need to get more to start eating into this lead?
Don't looking comfortable up there at the moment, but we said that before in one of the previous races in the Stoner, and they can't ever say this race is over whilst they've got somebody with a little bit of grit, a little bit of belief behind them.
Yeah, you can never say it's over till it's over, but they do look like they're in that sort of commanding position where they're able to watch and see if a move is coming their way. And if you can see a crew moving, and if you do have the speed to stop it, it can be a great mental boost, a great morale boost, and then vice versa. It can be very hard in the trailing crew to say, we just put a move in, but unfortunately, it didn't make a dent.
Well, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be one of these combinations. Chute's raced the single at the Junior Worlds before. He's raced here many times with Windsor boys, and Bell in the stroke seats raced many times for Eton. Absolutely outstanding junior row, both of them. And do you know what? They've not let that distance get much more than a length, 2 length at max as they come past the Remnant.
No, they're holding well, and it's still in that bit where they'll be able to see the puddles of the Dutch crew, and they'll know they're still there or thereabouts. It is a big ask at the moment. They still have quite a bit to claw back, but they'll know there is a chance. But it really probably needs to be very, very soon that some sort of decisive move happens, because we're going to start running out of track in a little bit time.
The drone is showing us the distance between these two boats, the orange canvas of the Netherlands, tapping in along nicely. It's always easier to be slightly in front, but this young British combination representing Princeton right now. Anyone's listening from over there on the east coast of America, it's an early morning. Hello. The Princeton boys are doing you proud. Can they close down this absolutely outstanding outfit from the Netherlands? They've got 100 meters to the enclosures.
And it is hard. Once you get behind, it's hard not to just keep letting it go like that. So they've done really well to stop the Dutch from moving out more and more, but it's a tall order to kind of come back from this distance. And once you're in the enclosures and once you hear that roar of the grandstand, you know that the finish line is approaching pretty quickly.
It does today. The wind is fairly insignificant. There's not much stream on this course. It has been a very dry summer here in GB. So not much change in the end of this race. The Dutch have taken it up a little bit. They've moved, and they have that ability with their rhythm, with their relaxation, to have that change of pace.
Yeah, they don't tend to overwork it at the back. And I mean, I found in my races, when you get in that habit of overworking at the back, it can be very hard to start taking the rate up, because you're a little bit too high in the body, you're a little bit tense, and it's hard to change that speed. But a very textbook row from this Dutch crew. They've been straight down the booms, they've been rowing very efficiently. Not a lot has gone wrong for them yet, but they definitely still know that the pressure's on them here.
Yes, because I think they've shortened up there. They've taken a little bit of length at the front of their stroke to make sure they're increasing their boat speed. Princeton behind, bringing a bit of dirty water there. You want to be moving back towards the beams, but huge cheers from the bank for this British combination representing Princeton. They're just rowing in that wash of the Netherlands.
Yeah, and that's going to be making it a little bit harder. It's going to be a little bit harder to get a grip and just lever the boat through. But it's difficult not to get dragged in, as when there's a crew out in front of you, it tends to suck you in a little bit, and I believe that might be what be happening to them here.
Well, the ranks and ranks of the Netherlands, a very successful rowing family, adding to that success as they cross the line, winning the silver Goblets and Nickalls Challenge Cup in 2025 over Chute and Bell of the USA.